Alexa, tell me a horror story.
Missed call. The cell phone rings, throwing urgent sound waves against the floors, walls, and windows of the empty house, reverberating down plywood stairs to the concrete basement and up through ceiling plaster to the attic, rippling the dust. Outside, a jogger jogs by. A car rambles past. A stray cat lounges in the weeds, but no one hears the ringing. Ring, 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 ring. Miles away, a teenager sits in a vinyl airport seat, heart racing, palms sweating. Dad, are you sure you dialed the right number? I don't hear anything. I do know your number, sweetie, says her father. But she is only aware of the sound of her own pulse, which seems to be going much too fast. She reaches instinctively for her phone. But no, it isn't there. How long will we be gone for? Just a couple of weeks. 2 weeks? Now the room starts to spin. She stares down at her empty fingers, which cramp into useless claws. Maybe it'll turn up when we get there, the dad offers, and then starts to hang up. Wait, the teenager pleads, but it's too late. Back at the house, her cell phone cuts off mid-ring. Missed call flashes onto the screen, bathing the air in harsh light. Then the screen fades, and the room goes dark, and still, and silent.
Alexa, tell me another horror story.
Ouija believe. Let me tell you about a girl who made the grave mistake of trying to summon a ghost. In a dark attic lit only by a single candle, she and her friends gathered around a Ouija board. As her fingers moved across the board, she called out to her grandmother's spirit. A horrendous wailing filled the room. The dust in the attic rose into the air, and the candle's flame snuffed out with a mysterious gust of wind. Faces wrinkled in fear as a ghostly form appeared, shimmering with an eerie light. But the girl saw that the ghost was her grandmother. "Grandma," she cried out, "I've missed you so much. How are you?" Her grandmother's spirit extended a pale hand and looked from one frightened face to another. She opened her ghostly mouth, and the girl leaned forward to hear her words. "Careful," Grandma rasped. "If you keep making that face, it'll freeze that way."
Alexa, tell me another horror story.
The dare. She was halfway up the tree when she thought, I never should have taken the dare, but her brother was waiting, and she didn't want to back down now. When she reached the open window, she crawled into what felt like a bedroom. It was quiet and dark. This isn't too bad, she thought. I guess the place really is abandoned. But her heart was still racing. In the dim light, she spotted something glowing, like a faint, tiny moon. That'll do. I'll grab it and get out of here. But just then, bang! The open window slipped shut, and she heard footsteps approaching. Oh no! She looked around in a panic. Where can I hide? She jumped into the bed and slipped under the covers. She lay there, trying not to breathe, but there was something else. Breathing. And the bed was warm. A scream pierced the darkness and the bedroom door flew open, flooding the room with light. Someone yanked back the covers and, eek, a rat! They always say that, she thought as she leapt from the bed. Fortunately, there was a cat door, and she darted through it. She met her brother in the alley and smiled, revealing a shiny old button in her mouth. He nodded his approval, and then, together, they disappeared into the sewer.
Alexa, tell me a big horror story.
Did you hear that? Quiet. I think I hear something. It's like a soft scratching sound. I think it's coming from one of the cupboards. There it is again. I definitely heard it that time. I'm going to check it out. You stay here. Nothing in this one. Or this one. Or, out of peanut butter. And I think I see the culprit. Come here, you little gremlin. I told you no eating after midnight. Get back here with that jelly.
Alexa, tell me another horror story.
The fishbowl. Honey, I have a surprise, the woman shouted as she closed the front door. She held up a crystal bowl with blue gravel and a swirl of orange. Say hello to our new goldfish. The pet shop was just giving them away. Her husband saw a small treasure chest in the gravel. He reached into the bowl to pull it out, but just as he touched it, he felt a nibble on his finger and snapped his hand back with a splash. The man yelped and stepped away from the fishbowl. He locked eyes with the goldfish bobbing under the surface. Are you okay? The woman asked. It tried to bite me, the man exclaimed. Don't be silly, she laughed. Goldfish don't bite. The man reluctantly agreed to keep the fishbowl in their bedroom. That night, as they got into bed, the man felt an eerie sensation of being watched. He scanned the room, and his gaze fell upon the goldfish's bulging eyes staring back at him. Feeling uneasy, he got up and paced the room. The fish swam, following his movements back and forth, back and forth. The man crawled back into bed and pulled the blankets over his head. He tossed and turned as the hours crept by, haunted by the goldfish's piercing, relentless stare. What's the matter? His wife asked, woken by his fidgeting. The goldfish, he whispered. He keeps staring at me. The woman looked at the man with her eyebrows raised. Honey, goldfish sleep with their eyes open because they don't have eyelids. The fact gave him no comfort. He slowly raised his head and saw the bubbles trickling out from its blank, blinkless stare.
Alexa, tell me a horror story.
Ghost cow. There's a hilltop on a pasture somewhere far, far away, where no one will venture to work or play. But why, you might ask, since the grass is so green, the sky so blue, the whole scene so serene? Because of a ghost cow who haunts the land. When other cows tip, she will stand. She stands in the sun and the wind and the rain, munching on grass and crunching on grain. And she waits all the while for you to walk by, to give you a scare and maybe a cry. 'Cause since Ghost Cow crossed over, she no longer says moo, but rather cries out a most frightening moo.